Evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Blair Best. That protest was set to start in just a few minutes, but we just got word from Legacy Health that some of their demands will be met. Art Edwards is outside the hospital with the latest. Art.
Well, they did release a letter a little while ago. Within the last hour, Legacy management released a letter to folks who use the hospital and also to employees, talking about some of the things that they're going to do in the wake of the tragedy from last week. Now, they are expected to talk a little bit more about some of these things, but here's what the letter had to say. They say that they are coming up with a comprehensive plan. There are some things that they're going to be doing right away. There are 100 locations that are Legacy locations throughout the area. Right away, they say they are going to have metal detectors and bag search at every Legacy hospital. Some of them will be coming on Monday. We'll be getting those metal detectors. There's going to be what they call bullet slow film that is going to be placed on hospital main entrances and emergency departments and glass in internal entrances. Lead officers who are on the security team at Legacy facilities will have tasers. All security who complete training and certification will be able to use tasers as well. Now, they also say that there are going to be other measures that they are going to be working on. Those three things are the things that they're going to be doing right away, and there are going to be some locations that will actually get the metal detectors on Monday. Earlier today, Legacy said that they held a moment of silence at 11:06. That is the time a week ago that the shooting happened here. In their statement, in their letter to people, they said that they wanted to thank people for their patience. They know that this has really been an emotional time for a lot of people, and they are thanking folks for the support that they have given the hospital and to the security officer who was killed, Bobby Smallwood, here at Legacy Good Samaritan. In the weeks to come and the months to come, they say they will continue to work on security measures to make sure that they can make all of their facilities as safe as they possibly can. Reporting live from Northwest Portland, Art Edwards, KGW News.
All right, Art, thank you for that important update. Well, now to an update on some major wildfires burning across Oregon and Washington. Firefighters continue to make progress on the Newell Road fire in eastern Klickitat County. It's now 94% contained. That's about 20% more than it was yesterday. Improved weather conditions have helped. Mandatory level 3 evacuations have been scaled back to an area bordered by DOT Road, Gadeburg Road, and the Bickleton Highway. And in Lane County, the bedrock fire continues in the Willamette National Forest. It's burned about 1,000 acres a day this week, now up to more than 9,000 acres. More than 500 people are working the fire, yet there's still zero containment. The Forest Service has closed all lands, roads, trails, and campgrounds near the fire. Well, let's check in with meteorologist Joe Ranieri. And Joe, we haven't really seen much rain this summer.
No. Again, last weekend we were kind of teasing, hey, we're going to be looking at close to measurable amount of rain for the first time.
We
saw trace amounts almost a week ago. A sprinkle, if we're lucky, and that is all we've seen. So we're looking at basically going back to June 19th, June 20th was the last time we saw any measurable amount of rain. We really need it, but we're not going to be seeing any threat of rain move in, at least for the next week. A slight chance to see some thunderstorms looking long-range models out in the next weekend. But right now, as we look at the air quality, we're looking at some really good air quality throughout the coast, the valley, and throughout much of the state. There is one region over in central Oregon where we're looking at unhealthy category to the moderate category. That's because wildfire smoke is going to continue to pour in throughout the high desert here over the next couple of days. This is where that fire is burning over in Lane County. Well, that wind is going to be pushing it all over into parts of Bend, Madras, and into parts of Paisley, and as we head into the eastern side of the state. That's going to be kind of the trend over the next couple of days. So if you're having any camping plans in that section of the state, be aware of that. And as we take a live look from our Timberline camera, you can kind of see some of the smoke and haze looking along the east side of the state. And temperatures right now for your afternoon are running in the low 80s. Very comfortable. It stays that way for tomorrow and into Monday, and then we'll be looking at some much warmer conditions. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. The Seattle police are looking for 2 suspects who opened fire on a community safety outreach event in a Safeway parking lot, injuring 5 people. It happened around 8 last night in the Rainier Beach neighborhood in South Seattle. Witnesses say dozens of shots were fired into the crowd that had gathered for the weekly community event that's billed as a safe space as a deterrent to violence. 5 adults were hit, 4 were taken to the hospital, and 2 remain there in satisfactory condition. Seattle police don't have a description of the suspects. Well, we're now hearing from the mother of Elijah Guthrie Prejean, the 19-year-old man who was tackled and tased by 2 Vancouver police officers. They arrested him for allegedly shoplifting from an East Vancouver Walmart. Body cam footage of the May 21st incident was released this week after Officer Andrea Mendoza was charged with 4th-degree assault. Before she and her partner could get Guthrie Prejean in handcuffs, he punched one of them in the face and kicked the other in the chest. After wrestling him to the ground, Officer Mendoza tased him in the back, then pulled down his pants and threatened the same to his genitals. His mother now says he was profiled because of his race.
I guess you just don't think it's going to be your child. You see it on the news everywhere and you just think, oh my gosh, what would I do if that was my child? And right now, 3 months later, just finding out that this is what happened, I'm very angry. I'm very hurt.
Officer Mendoza is on administrative leave. Guthrie Prejean is no longer facing charges for what happened. However, he is still behind bars after pleading guilty on unrelated assault charges. Well, a Portland family is mourning the loss of a mother who was shot and killed on Wednesday. It happened around 5:30 in the evening in the Powellhurst-Gilbert neighborhood. Let's bring in Thomas Schultz. And Thomas, you talked with her family today.
Yeah, family members say Laura Guerrero Rafaela was a loving mother of 4, Blair, and also an aunt to many more. She talked every day to her sisters and even looked after ones who had arthritis and one who couldn't even take care of herself. Now, all they have left is pictures and memories.
She would always be the first one on the dance floor.
Arlith Pacheco and the rest of her family still can't believe Laura Guerrero Rafaela is gone. Family members say Guerrero Rafaela would treat her nieces and nephews like her own children. She even began taking care of one of her nephews, raising him like her own son. To Pacheco, her aunt's death seems like a bad dream.
Here's my aunt, and my cousin.
She says Guerrero Rafaela used to talk about her death, urging her family not to cry when she was gone.
I don't know if she said it just like as a joke, but we never thought she was actually gonna be taken from us in such a horrible way.
Shot 4 times and killed. Pacheco says security footage shows Guerrero Rafaela was shot 3 times before the gunman stepped even closer, before firing a 4th bullet.
All this family is hurt.
Now, all they ask is for justice.
This person that did this to her, it shouldn't be out there.
Family members say they know the person who shot Guerrero Rafaela, but they say police told them they don't yet have enough evidence to charge anyone.
It's not fair to my family to know that the guy who killed her is still running around.
Now Pacheco just has this book.
Me and my aunt.
Filled with pictures from her quinceañera and memories of her aunt.
We're just in shock. We can't believe that she's actually gone.
Portland has now had 50 homicides this year, 43 of which have been shootings. Blair?
Thomas, thank you.